Luxury Solo Explorer. My name is Valentino, and today we're going to be talking about the amazing city of Singapore. Just before I start, just a quick reminder, this is Luxury Solo Explorer. It is solo, it is luxurious, and it is authentic. And I'd also like to welcome those of my friends who are watching from my other channels, Luxury Junkets, as well as from Fly with Passport. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you for staying tuned. Now, as all of you know, every Sunday at 6 p.m., I do a live session, 6 p.m. Australian time, of course. I do a live session on a new country every time. So today we are covering one of the most efficient, one of the most clean, and one of the most safest high-end cities in the world, and of course countries in the world as well. It's a city-state, Singapore. So we'll be talking about that today. Now, Singapore has got too much to offer. And I personally love Singapore. I have lived in Singapore for a few years, and other than living in Singapore, also I have been to Singapore like hundreds of times, literally. The last one was a few months ago, just a couple of months ago, actually. And I have also put in a travel series of videos for Singapore, which I will be putting the link to that in the chat. So you can see not all the places, but most of the places which I'm going to be referring today. I've actually put in series on that, and all the videos are already uploaded onto the channel. So if you want to see those videos, then I will be dropping the link in the chat as well, so you can have a look. Now the Q&A session is open, so you can ask me any questions while I'm live. You can ask me any questions, or you can send me your questions after the chat as well, after this live session, and I'll be happy to answer them. If I'm not able to answer them right now, then I'll be able to answer them after this conversation. And also the recording obviously is going to be available in the channel, so you can have a look at it. So let's get straight into it. So first of all, the first thing is the logistics, like whenever you want to go to a new country or any country for that matter. So the first thing is you need to think about the logistics. Now, in terms of logistics, there are two main things. One is a flight, and second is a visa requirements. So let's just talk quickly about both of them. As far as the visa is concerned, most countries from the western part of the world and most of the Asian countries, or rather I should say the ASEAN countries, the 10 ASEAN countries, they actually don't need a visa to enter Singapore. However, there are some countries which do need a visa to enter Singapore. So if you're one of those countries, then you'll need to apply for visa in advance, and you can get that for tourism purposes. Otherwise, if you don't need a visa, then you can just book in a ticket and come to Singapore. Now, the next aspect is regarding the flights. Singapore is a major global aviation hub. So there is flight to Singapore from literally every part of the world. Like Singapore Airlines is a very good airline. It's mind-blowing. It's very efficient, very clean, extreme, like always on time. Literally, I've flown Singapore Airlines hundreds of times. Can't even remember even one time when the flight was delayed. The experience is mind-blowing. It's got connections from all parts of the world. If you talk about Europe, you talk about Australia, New Zealand, you talk about Asia, you talk about South America, it's got connections from all parts of the world. So reaching Singapore is pretty easy. So these are the two key things which anyone needs to think of when you think from a logistics perspective. Now, when you decide to come to Singapore, and then you look at just 3 days before your arrival, you need to fill in something called the SGAC, which stands for Singapore Arrival Card, which also is like a immigration cum health declaration card, which you need to fill online 3 days before that. Now, I'll just tell you about my recent experience because it's just 2 months old, or 3 months old rather. So I'll just tell you what happened. So we filled in the card. When we came there, we just went to the automatic gates. We just scanned our passport, and that's it. There was no immigration, there was no immigration officer which was standing there checking our passport, any questions asked, nothing at all. It was just a little queue. You come out of the plane, you go down the stairs or the elevator, and then there are people standing there, and you just put in your passport over there. It just scans your face, and there you go. That's it. It was I think it just took like less than 2 minutes is what I'd say. So it's very fast, very efficient, no queues at all. I would imagine this was one of the fastest immigration processes ever I have seen anywhere in the world. There are a few other countries which are very efficient, but this is also extremely efficient. Now, in terms of, so once you reach there, now what do you do? So there are many ways you can reach your hotel. The easiest option I would suggest, depending on which way you want to look at it, but if you're looking at from a comfort perspective, I'd say that just take the taxi from the airport It is metered, it is clean, it is, like, I think it is extremely good. They are safe, they don't overcharge you, nothing at all. Everything is according to the meter. You can pay by the card, and that's it. It's pretty convenient. You get it from the airport itself. You don't need it. There's no tout, so there's nothing like that in Singapore. So it's extremely comfortable. If you don't want to do that, then of course you've got the train option as well, which I believe is a little bit of a hassle, because after a long flight, you just want to go to the hotel and you just want to rest, which is what I do. So I took the taxi and just went to my hotel. So that would be I'd say the second thing to do, like once you're in your hotel. Now let's look at what are the key places in Singapore. And Singapore is full of attractions. Now it really depends on what kind of attraction you're looking for. Are you looking for family entertainment? Are you looking for the views? Are you looking for if you're looking at, let's say, the beaches, if you're looking at nightlife, if you're looking for shopping, there are like hundreds of things literally in Singapore. You never get bored. So it's sort of impossible to decide the itinerary for every person, like create a generic itinerary. It's very difficult to do that. Having said so, I put in some sort of must-do places which I think, which any person, any average person would definitely want to see. So, for example, the Marina Bay Sands. So, if we start from that, so Marina Bay Sands it's really nice. It's a triple towers, as you know. I believe that they're trying to create a fourth tower. Also, there's a talk about creating the fourth tower as well. But it's like an icon of Singapore rather than Merlion. So that's one of the places you really want to go. Now, when you go to Marina Bay Sands, if you want to go to the top, and if you're not staying in Marina Bay Sands, then there is an entrance fee which you need to pay. Now, the good thing is that instead of going to the observation decks and paying that exorbitant fees, what you actually can do is there are a number of cafes like the Spago or the Lavo, which is located inside Marina Bay Sands. So if you go over there, you can actually get the amazing views at much lower cost, and you also don't have the crowds. You can order your food. The food is reasonably priced. It's not too expensive. And then you get the same views basically from, instead of going to the observation decks, you can actually get it from, and then it's more comfortable. So you can do that. That's one option. Other than that, Marina Bay Sands, it also has a luxury mall inside it. So it's all big brands in the world, all designer brands in the world which you can think of. They are available within Marina Bay Sands. So if you're fond of that kind of shopping, then you can actually go to Marina Bay Sands. And if you're staying in Marina Bay Sands, and it's pretty expensive, I would say I could afford that. But if you are one of those lucky ones who can actually afford that, then that's really amazing. That's mind blowing. So that's regarding Marina Bay Sands. Whatever in terms of that's one of the first icons I would say. Now, in terms of where you want to stay in Singapore, so there are a number of options again where you can stay in Singapore. Singapore has got options right from the hostels and Airbnb, that kind of, to ultra luxury hotels. So ultimately, it depends on your budget, where you really want to stay, what kind of hotels you have. Normally, hotels in Singapore, because it is a city state and the space is limited, so hotels are typically pretty expensive. And also, the hotel rooms are very small as compared to what you might find in other parts of the world. For example, let's say compared with Thailand or Philippines or even Malaysia, you would find that the hotel rooms are much smaller and the price is quite expensive. So that's one disadvantage which Singapore definitely has. It is pretty expensive. It's one of the most expensive places I have known. So that is something which you need to keep in mind when you're selecting your hotel. So I stayed in a decent hotel. I've always stayed in a decent hotel, but I did not stay in those five-star luxury ones because it was literally not possible. And the rooms were pretty small in any case. So I stayed in a four-star hotel last time when I went to Singapore. So that's my that was my experience. In terms of where you can stay in Singapore, now again, it really depends on what kind of travel you want to see. What's the kind of budget you're looking at. If you are looking at the ultra luxury, then I'll say that you can stay in Marina Bay Sands and you can stay in downtown area, and that is amazing because you got everything near you, like all the main attractions on this side of Singapore, they would be next to you if you stay in the Marina Bay Sands area. Now, if you're not planning to stay that, but if you're still looking for shopping, then the second option would be that you can stay in the Orchard area, all big hotels. They are very close to Orchard Road. There's a lot of shopping, hundreds of malls in Orchard Road. It's like a shopper's paradise, I would say. So you got all kinds of designer brands, anything which you can think of, all kinds of food, everything is available in Orchard Road itself, and you will never get bored. And there are literally, it's just completely surrounded with hotels, like hundreds, thousands, I would say, hotels are there on Orchard Road. So you can try that. Or the third option is that if you don't want to do that and you are looking at, more from a Sentosa perspective. Sentosa is an island which is very close to Singapore, and it's owned by Singapore. So if you are planning to stay there, then Sentosa also has a number of hotels. The advantage of that is then you are very close to Universal, you're close to other attractions. There are a number of things which happen in Sentosa, so you are very close to those activities. And I'll talk about Sentosa in a moment when I talk about the other sections. So these are the three sort of places where you can stay. Now, let's talk about from a cultural perspective first. So again, as I said, Singapore has got something to offer to everyone. So it really depends on what you are looking for. So I'm just creating a sort of sharing my experiences in terms of what are the various activities which you can do in Singapore. So let's talk about the cultural side of things first. Now, when you talk about cultural side, there's one particular area. It's called the Haji Lane, and it's extremely colorful. It's just one lane basically, which it'll probably take you 10 minutes to walk from one end to the other end. But it is extremely colorful. Like the buildings and the shops over there are extremely colorful, multicolors. If you want to experience that, my advice to you would be that you go early in the morning when the shops are not open. So when you go over there, you can actually take a lot of amazing shoots and a lot of amazing colors you can capture. I have a video on Haji Lane. You can actually look at the channel, and it is there. I've put the link for the playlist in the comment section. You can have a look at that. There is a video on Haji Lane, and you can experience that. It is extremely colorful. The other places are you can go to Chinatown. Chinatown, again, as the name says, it is it is Chinatown. You can go to Chinatown. It's got a little bit of a mix of old and new. So there is a Buddha tooth relic temple. I believe they say that the tooth of the Buddha is lying inside that temple. That's what they say. There are a number of, that is one thing. And then there are a number of bars which are they are in ancient sort of shop houses are there, and there are a number of bars inside Chinatown, so you can experience that. In addition, there is a lot of easy shopping or sort of street shopping which is available. Street food is available. A lot of other things which you want to do, you can do in Chinatown. And then from a cultural point, the third place which is important is the Little India. So that's the Indian place. There are a lot of Indian shops. Indian food is available. Indian clothes are available. Within Little India, there is a very big shopping mall. It's called Mustafa, and it's got basically everything Indian which you can think of in the world. Not just Indian, but it's predominantly Indian. So you can experience that. You can get those kind of things over there. I just got a okay. So now I can see. I'm just checking these things. Just got a message from someone, Febby. Hi Febby, how are you? It's nice to hear from you. Yes, I am coming to Philippines soon, Febby. It's so nice to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to see you soon, Febby. Now I'm going to talk about. So that was the first thing. I've spoken about the cultural side of things. Now I will be talking about what are the other things which you can do. So one very important thing, which is icon of Singapore, is the Merlion. Right, so it's like it's half lion, sort of, and half fish. That kind of and it's just next to the water on the harbour side in Singapore. So I'll talk about that. If you're going towards Marina Bay Sands, then you can easily see that. It's just in front of that. Now, so we've cleared the cultural side of it. Now we're going to be talking about what are the things which you can see. So one very important attraction of Singapore is Gardens by the Bay. Now, Gardens by the Bay is, even though the name says Gardens by the Bay, but it's actually not the name of a garden. It's got a number of activities within the garden. I have put in a video inside. I've put in the link for the video also. There is a video on the channel. You can have a look at that, which is around Gardens by the Bay. And if you look at it, it's got number of activities over there. So you can walk on top. There's got you've got there is a Flower Valley, I believe. There is Cloud Forest. There is Jurassic Park things. The number of things which are there. Now, if you go towards gardens, by the way, there are two things which you need to take care of. One is that please make sure that you've got your booking done in advance. Second, please also ensure that try not to go on the weekend because it can get really crowded. Third, also check the official website and make sure that on the day on which you're going, there is no scheduled maintenance on some of the activities. So sometimes what happens is they will close a particular activity. Now, before you book your ticket, make sure that you have checked the official website and make sure that there is no activity which is closed. When I went, for example, one of the activities was unfortunately it was closed. I had checked the website also; it was closed. So I had to take a call because I was there in Singapore only for a few days, so I did not have an option, and I just wanted. So I left one particular attraction. I could not go, but I saw the other attractions. So I went pretty early in the morning, like just before it opened. I was there, so it had less number of crowds, and also it was not so sunny at that point in time, so it was pretty easy. Some people, what they do is they actually do the reverse. You can actually go in the night also. It is open in the night time as well. You can go depending on what is your preference. So some people do that as well. But I always say that just make sure that you check the timings and also try not to go on the weekends. So that's the that I would say would be the second thing which you need to consider. Now, then the next thing which you need to keep in mind is, oh sorry, I forgot about one important thing when I was talking about Merlion. The other thing is there is a light show which happens on the opposite side of Merlion. So if you're standing on this side, you can actually see that show. It is very big. They sort of make all the buildings colorful on the opposite side. So if you're standing on this side, you can still see that. So and but some people they prefer to go next to the water on the other side and have a look at it. Both ways you can get very nice views. Now let's talk about Sentosa Island so far. So as far as Sentosa Island is concerned, Sentosa again has got a number of things. There are literally a number of things which you can do in Sentosa. So I have made few videos on Sentosa Island as well. So one is on Universal, one is on there is an aquarium there. It is one of the largest in the world. The aquarium which is available over there. And then there's a night show over there which is called The Wings of Time. So I have made three separate videos on Sentosa which have all of these three things. Sentosa, of course, will take you the whole day. Now, going to Sentosa, you can go there are a number of options how you can go to Sentosa. So you can either take the car, so you can actually take your car towards Sentosa, or you can take the gondola, or that is another option which you can do. So it really depends, what really you want to experience. Now, if you go by the gondola, the views are really nice, especially if you have the clear bottom, gondola or I'm forgetting the particular word they call it over there. But yeah, I mean, if you got that cabin, which is the glass bottom, then you get mind blowing views over the sea. Some people who are scared of heights, just be careful around that. They can get anxious, but it is very safe. Believe me, it is very, very safe. So you can enjoy that if you wanna go via the gondola. It's not too long. It doesn't take too long. It's I think it total into and I think it took about 15 minutes from Singapore side going on to Sentosa side. So it's not too long, but still some people maybe even less than that. I think about 12 minutes maybe. But that's the sort of the average time. Now, what are the activities you can do in Sentosa? So one of the most important activities that most people do is that they would go to Universal Studios. Universal Studios is extremely colorful. It's mind-blowing colorful. Having said so, and it's got a number of things, which you see in the movies. You can take pictures. You have activities for kids. You've got rides. You've got a number of things. So it's like a kid's paradise. For kids, it's must experience. Having said so, doesn't mean that adults can't enjoy it. Adults also can enjoy it. It's got food stalls. A number of restaurants out there. You can enjoy those as well inside the Universal Studio. Having said so, again, the same issue. Don't go on the weekend. If you go on the weekend, it is extremely crowded. Other thing is, even when it opens, I think at least half an hour, 40 minutes before it opens, the queue, people come and stand in the queue because people want to go early enough. So just be mindful of that. There are a number of queues. It's not like one queue. There are, I think there are about like 15, 20 queues, lines, but there are hundreds of thousands of people are there. So it is very crowded. So you need to take that into consideration, how you want to, do that. It is not too expensive, I'd say. I think it was value for money, depending on, what we saw. There are a number of rides. There is a water ride as well. We tried that as well. So I think that was good. So that's one activity which you can do. The second is there is an aquarium, which is pretty much opposite Universal. So once you come out of Universal, you can go over there. Again, you need to have your booking in advance. Normally, they've got the scanners that just scan your ticket on your phone, or if you've got a paper ticket, they'll do that and you can go in. Otherwise, to buy that, it might be a little bit of a hassle if you go there. You can still get it, but it's just a little bit of hassle. I prefer to do it in advance. It's got it, and the ocean, the aquarium over there. It is actually one of the largest in the world. It is so big. I mean, you'll be tired by the time by the time you exit the aquarium. I think you'll be super tired. So I went right in the morning. So first I went to Universal, and from Universal I went to the aquarium. I was completely exhausted after that. And it's got all kinds of marine life which you can think of in the world. It is available over there. You can have a look at my video. It gives more information, and you can see what kind of things are there in the aquarium. It is there. You can have a look at that. But it is nice. It is very nice. I think it is one time. It is definitely one time go. They have recently renovated it. It was open. I think they opened it again in August this year, if I'm not wrong, or July this year. So they have renovated it recently. So because of the renovation, it's now even better than what it was. So it's really good. Now, what are the other things within Sentosa? Now, what you can also do is that you can, if you are fond of the lights, then you can look at the Wings of Time night show. It is about 20 minutes of show. I have made a video on that also. That's also is updated onto the website, onto the channel, so you can have a look at that. It's very colorful. It stays about 20 minutes. You get very nice view of the thing there. There are two shows or three shows in the night, and there are different classes depending on what class you have booked in. I think there's a premier class and there's a normal class. So either you sit in the front or you sit in the back, so that you get a nice view, because it is elevated, so you get a very nice view. So you can try that as well. Uh, Other than that, within Sentosa, there are a number of, there is a little beach also. And around that beach, there are some beach clubs. You can go there. There are bars over there if you want to enjoy that. There's a lot of food available there. And then there is a Sentosa Luge also if you want to try that. Again, all these things are dependent on, what you really want to do. But I'm just sharing what are the activities which are available. So these are some of the things which you can do. Some people go to Sentosa, they actually go to the bars because there are a number of bars over there. They enjoy having a good time in the bars, um, and so on and so forth. So that's other thing. Last but not the least, you can, if you want to see the other small islands, what you can do is that from Sentosa, you can actually take a yacht charter, and you can take a small yacht from Sentosa, and it can take you around the southern islands. So you can see some of the other amazing things which you can't see normally if you are just in Sentosa. So again, really depends on what is it that you prefer, what would you like to do. Really depends on that. So I think that's these are. I think I've covered all the main things. I'm just considering. I've spoken about Marina Bay Sands. I've spoken about Milan. I've spoken about Haji Lane. I've spoken about Sentosa Universal. I've spoken about the aquarium. I've also spoken about the Wings of Time. So, and I've spoken about very important gardens, by the way. Not sure if something else is left, but these are some of the main things which everyone wants to see when they go to Singapore. Again, as I said, it all depends on what is your preference in terms of what do you really want to do, right? So it depends on that. Uh, Now let's look at some of the other things. What are the other things you might do? Now, if so, other thing of course is when you are going to leave Singapore, so you will come to the airport. Now, the airport itself is a destination in itself. The airport is so big and so nice. It's a destination in itself. Now, what some people do, and again, it's all depending on your preference and how tired you are. So, what some people do is that when they come into Singapore after they've cleared immigration and taken their luggage, they actually there are luggage collection points within the airport. They give their luggage over there, and then they go around the airport at that point in time. So, because the airport itself is a destination, I'm talking about Jewel Changi. So, in 1 minute, I'll talk about that. So that's one option. And what some other people do is that instead of going at that time, what they do is that when they are leaving Singapore, at that time they will bring their luggage, give it over there, and then before their check-in time, they will go around. So they will have a lot of time to kill. So number one, they're already at the airport, which means they don't have a risk of missing the flight. And the second thing is that because they are there, so they can go around the airport, look at Jewel Changi, and there is a lot of shopping also which is available. So you can do that. Now, I prefer to do the second option. That's just my personal preference because when I landed, I did not want to, spend my time because completely tired after an 8 hours flight. So didn't want to do that. But if you are up for it, you can definitely do that as well. Again, also depends on whether you want to look at the night side or you want to look at the day side. In night, of course, there is the indoor waterfall, the Jewel Changi waterfall. That looks amazing. It's the largest indoor waterfall in the world, so it is really beautiful. I have put in a video on that also. You can have a look at that. There is a video around on this particular Jewel Changi as well. Now, what are the things which are there in Jewel Changi? Jewel Changi has got, there is a canopy park first of all. Now within that canopy park, there's activities for kids. There is like a maze. There are some creatures which are made of flowers. There are a lot of pictures which people take. A lot of things are there. So you can possibly use that. If you're with the kids, you can look at that. Then there is the rain vortex, which is there. So it's that. So the rain vortex is basically the waterfall. So that's what the waterfall is called. That's the official name. There are a number of levels. So depending on what ticket you have booked in, you can go to a particular level to have a look at the waterfall. You don't really need to buy the ticket to look at the waterfall. You can look at it from the open areas as well. But if you really want to take like some crazy photos or mind blowing photos, then definitely yes, go to the upper levels, and for that you need to pay. You can get that. There are signs in the airport how you can go to those particular levels. There is signs for that. They just check your ticket and they let you in, and it's pretty easy. And then there is a canopy bridge, so you need to buy a ticket for that as well. From the canopy bridge, the waterfall is right in front of you, so you can enjoy that. So these are some of the things which are there. That bridge, the canopy bridge, I think the special thing around that is that it's basically made of glass. So you're sort of suspended in air. So it's nice. It's not scary. It's very nice. It's about, I think, I would say about 25 meters above the ground. So you can get very nice photos of the waterfall from there. Again, I'm saying you definitely don't need to compulsorily buy the ticket. Without the ticket, also once you come into the airport towards Jewel, you can actually. One second. Okay, apologies for that. My throat is getting dry. Now, one thing which I want to explain and which is not clear to a lot of people is that Jewel is not exactly the airport itself. So Jewel is next to the airport. From Jewel, you can go to the airport, but Jewel and the airport are not the same thing. So if you say you've come to Jewel Changi, it means that you've come to the Jewel side of Changi. So it doesn't mean that you are inside the airport. Now again, depends on which terminal you are taking your flight from. There are a number of terminals. Singapore has got 4 terminals, if I'm not wrong. T1, T2, T3 are basically the normal airlines, and T4 is a budget airline. And also depends on which side part of the world you are going. Uh, if you're taking your flight from T1, T2, or T3, then basically they are in front of you, so you don't really need to take a bus or the interterminal bus. You don't need to take that. You can just go directly from there. There is a train also inside the airport. You can do that as well, and then you can walk around. That is also possible. T1, T2, definitely you can go. Having said so, if your flight is from T4, then you will need to take a bus. The bus is available right outside Jewel Changi, so you don't need to go. You just come out of the door of Jewel Changi, and then just cross the road. And over there, the bus is there. It comes in every 10 minutes. Bus service is there, so it is available. You can go from there. But some people think, but again, I'm saying it really depends on where your flight is. Depends on the terminal from which you're taking your flight. So just keep that in mind, because Jewel Changi has got so many activities. You can somehow sometimes miss that. If you're especially if your flight is from T4, but you're still in Jewel Changi, then it will just remember that you will need to take the bus. So you're not in the airport at that time. So just keep that in consideration. But yes, if you're in T1, T2, then both of them are very close. You can go directly. For the luggage, I think I mentioned earlier, you can deposit your luggage. There are a number of places where you can deposit your luggage. It is not free. It is pretty expensive. Just keep that in mind as well. So yeah, but we did that. I mean, I did not because didn't really have a choice. I had so much of luggage with me, so can't really go around, inside the whole mall dragging the luggage with me. So that's not possible. You won't get bored. There's activities for everyone there, for kids, for adults. A lot of food options, a lot of shopping, different types of luxury products are available inside Jewel, so you can enjoy that. Now, last but not the least, which I always talk in every video, which is around the mistakes which you can do in a country. Now, let's just talk about it. So the first mistake, which is a very obvious one, is not filling the Singapore arrival card. So if you don't fill in this arrival card, then of course it'll take you a hell lot of time, because you might have to go through immigration in that case, as in like manually you might have to be processed if you haven't filled in the form. Because they get advanced information about where you're coming from, so they can easily do your profiling, and it becomes easier for the system to process you. But if you go over there and then try to do it, you can do it. In theory, you can do it. It is not illegal because you not entered Singapore at that point in time. So you have done it before entering or before presenting yourself to immigration. But only thing is that it can be a little bit taxing. It can be a little bit, if you're not connected to the Wi-Fi, and you're in a rush, or it just creates stress. So my advice would be that just fill in before you leave your country. At the very least, definitely fill in the form. It needs to be done 3 days before. As always, because I like to do my things by planning, and I don't like to do anything at the last minute. Therefore, I think that I did it like 3 days in advance, and just one thing off the red, nothing to worry about. So that's one thing which you need to keep in mind. Other thing is that I've spoken about the maintenance schedule in gardens, by the way. So keep that in mind. Wherever you're going, always check the official website. The good thing is that, unlike some other parts of the world, the websites in Singapore are always updated. So if the website says something, then you won't really experience something else if you go over there. Like whatever the website is saying, you will have the same experience. So if the website says the maintenance is going on, it means the maintenance is going on. The reverse is also true. If there is no mention about the maintenance, it means there is no maintenance going on. You can go there comfortably. You won't get a shock by having a look at website and then saying, "Oh, actually they didn't mention, but they are doing maintenance." That won't be the case. You can experience that. Next thing is the heat. So Singapore is extreme is quite humid, and it's pretty hot as well. So a lot of people actually underestimate that, including myself. I had forgotten. So I got a lot of tanning, even though I had put in the sunscreen, but I put in only once in a day. But if you're out and about, then you definitely need to put the sunscreen few like every 2 hours or every 3 hours at least, just to protect your skin. It is very humid, so you need to have a lot of water. Just keep that in mind. Wherever you're going, just carry the water with you. If the water in Singapore is actually potable, you can have the water from Singapore taps as well. It is potable, but again, in most parts of the world, it's advisable just to carry the bottled water. And if you do that, then the bottled water is pretty expensive in Singapore. So keep that in mind. It is very expensive. In terms of the tipping culture, now whether you go to a local restaurant or you go to a high-end restaurant, tipping is not really expected. So it's not illegal, but it's not really expected. Like they don't expect you to tip because they've already put in a 10% surcharge onto your bill. That would be included anyway. So that 10% basically is sort of like legal tipping in a different way. So that's how it is. So you don't really put in. There's no need to put in. But at the same time, if you do the tip, then they're not going to look down upon you. Why have you put in a tip? Like I know a few countries wherein tipping is not allowed at all. Like Japan, tipping is like people look at you in a different way. So yeah, but tipping is okay, but it is not expected. One very important thing, which is around the fines. So now Singapore is known as a fine city. So it's a fine city. Now, when I say fine, I mean yes, fine in the sense of beautiful city, amazing city, but also as the fine city, which means the city of fines, wherein you can be fined for anything and everything. Now, what are the most common things you can be fined for in Singapore? The first thing you can be fined for is the chewing gum. Chewing gum is illegal in Singapore. You can't legally get chewing gum in Singapore. So if you're traveling from another country, if you're coming from Malaysia or wherever in the world and you have chewing gum with you, please discard that before you enter Singapore. You can get into a lot of trouble just for having chewing gum with you. It is not allowed in Singapore at all. That's number one. Number two, there is no littering allowed in Singapore. Singapore is one of the cleanest places on earth. It is super clean. There are very strict laws around, creating litter. And if you don't clean up after yourself, and there are cameras, they're watching you everywhere, they can actually come after you. And don't think that no one is watching. Don't get that into thing. The fines are very strict. I think the least fine is about $250. It can go up to 400, and it can go beyond also. It's not just a fine; it can get into a lot of trouble as well. So just clean up after yourself. And then if you're a smoker, thankfully I'm not a smoker. But if so, thankfully that's an amazing thing. I'm not a smoker, so I wasn't worried about that. But Singapore is very strict about the smoking zones as well. So just keep that in mind. If you're a smoker, then keep that into consideration. That you just follow the smoking zones. Don't smoke at other areas. Now, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. I've spoken about all the things which which I wanted to speak. And again, I've spoken from my personal experience of living in Singapore, and also of literally traveled in Singapore hundreds of times. So have experience with that. So I've spoken from my personal experience. I've mentioned the videos on Singapore which I have made. They have already been uploaded onto the channel. So if you want to have a look at a particular place, like for example, you want to look at Gardens by the Bay, you want to look at Merlion, or you want to look at Marina Bay Sands, and you want to look at other things, all of that is uploaded. One thing which I didn't mention is that there are a lot of rooftop bars in Singapore, and they offer you amazing, mind blowing view of Singapore skyline. So the one which I chose there is a bar called Lantern, which is in the Fullerton Hotel. So it's right next to the water. You have a mind blowing view of MBS and also the water and also of Singapore skyline. That's where I went. It's also uploaded onto the channel. You can have a look at that. It is really amazing, really beautiful. It is expensive though, but it is beautiful. Also, keep in mind Singapore as a city is quite expensive. So even if you have, unless your currency is a euro or even the US dollar for that matter, but Singapore is pretty expensive. So keep that in mind. Keep that into consideration. It is pretty expensive. So just keep that in mind when you are coming to Singapore. Especially if you're coming from the Asian countries, you actually be spending more money than what you would spend in your own country for the same thing. So don't compare it with that. Hotels are expensive, taxis are expensive, basically everything is expensive. At the same time, of course, yes, you get the value for that. Now, what are the other things? So I think that's pretty much what it is. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, just feel free to put them in the chat. And like always, please like the channel, share the channel, and subscribe. And I'm going to see you next Sunday at 6 p.m. AEST or Australian time. I'm not sure which video I will be doing next week. So I'm open to suggestions. Which video would you want me to do next week? I'm considering, I've got options. I'm thinking of doing Japan, or I'm thinking of doing Maldives, or even some people have mentioned to me, they sent me messages saying that there are some unknown places which I've spoken about, unknown beach destinations. So why don't I do some videos on some unknown beach destinations which are very cheap, but not many people actually do not go there because they're not in public memory. So I can do that as well. And some people have asked me for Dubai. So I have these options. But if there are other options which you want me to consider, please feel free to put that. And I'm going to see you in the next chat. So now again, the live chat is open. You can put your comments, and thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for subscribing to the channel as well. Um, I just saw Filipina Diary putting a comment about Japan. Thank you for that. Yes, I can consider Japan. Japan is one of my very favorite destinations. I really love Japan. I love the Japanese people. They're really humble and really respectful people. I'll definitely do a video on Japan. It might be a long video because there is so much to talk about in Japan that it might take a lot, a lot of time to talk about Japan, but I will definitely consider that. So I have these options in front of me. But thank you so much for watching once again. And wherever you are, stay safe. And since I'm not going to see you before Christmas, because the next live will be after Christmas, I believe. So I wish you Merry Christmas to everyone. Hopefully everyone stays safe. And please enjoy with your family. And I'm going to see you in the next live. Thanks a lot for now, and bye now.